Hello, Leo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of July 19th through the 25th. And during that time, we have a waxing crescent moon, the first part of the week. That's a time of calm and stability when we are working on those things that we just started during the new moon. So your senses are heightened, but we're, planning and starting to work on those things, and you're able to have good focus. We then have our first little disruptor of the cycle. That's the first quarter moon. That comes in on the 22nd, 23rd, depending on where you are. And it's very reminiscent of the full moon energy, where you feel impulsive, impatient, where your mind's active. You feel like you can't buckle down, get anything done. It's just everything just feels a little off. It might only last for a couple of hours. For some people, maybe a day, but just know that that's coming up. And so that you can either, make the correct adjustments to just not have to do anything for that time period, or you kind of challenge that and you say, you know what, I'm going to learn to be in control of these impulses and dominate that feeling. So either way that you want to handle that is fine. We then, for the rest of the week, have the waxing gibbous moon. So that's the moon's getting brighter. We're having a deeper understanding of the things that we're working on. We're showing that we can be flexible and also using our intuition and our introspection at this time. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Leo. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that prosperity lies ahead. Well, isn't that lucky for you, Leo? And seeing how that is my sign also, that's nice for me. So, that is a good thing. Let's see where this prosperity might be hidden, where we're finding it. So, as I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder for you, Leo, is that you keep a spiritual journal. Oftentimes, as we're learning things in our spiritual life, we just kind of forget to write them down. And it is a good thing later in time to have to go back and look at. I know that there's things that I wish I had written down from years ago, and I didn't start doing this, really keeping a spiritual journal, till probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And I really wish I had one from early in my life, because I know there were things that I'm kind of like, when did that happen? And it's really hard for me to build that timeline. So having a spiritual journal, just kind of a little aside where you're writing down dreams that you're having. This could be things that you're learning, synchronicities that you're having, or just those types of things. Really just good to have a journal of. So that's my fun weekly reminder for you. All right, Leo, let's get into this reading. July 19th through the 25th, prosperity lies ahead. Your present energy right now, Queen of Cups. So you're in a very good place emotionally, where you've really have an understanding of your own emotions. You understand why you act a certain way. You understand or react even, or have certain emotions. And you also are able to see kind of the emotional interplay of the world around you, all the people around you. So that's just a good, nice, emotionally stable place to be right now. Your current situation is that you're not super thrilled with what the universe is offering you. So, I've seen this card, and it was sometimes when I see this card, I think, there's times when, yeah, you might feel a little it's kind of what this card is like. Okay, no, thanks, next. Move along. If you're feeling like this a lot, it might be that you need to say yes to one of those things in order to get the better thing that you're not seeing back here, right? That's all I can say. But you're emotionally supported right now. You've got cups standing up. You've got some things going on, but you're just kind of about what the universe is offering you. So I'm just going to say, look harder. Or if you say yes to one thing, sometimes that's the path to getting to the other thing that you actually do want. So keep that in mind. At the root of your situation, Two of Swords. So, and hold on, I feel a possible sneeze. Excuse me, I knew I wasn't going to stop that sneeze. Two of Swords. So you're in kind of a moment of indecision right now. You might be gathering information, but you're thinking something through, whatever that might be for you. And it might be that, again, whatever's coming in, you're just not thrilled with that, with whatever the offer is. So you're kind of like, okay, well, I have decisions here, but just make sure that you take the time to think things through before you take a next step, especially if it's a big important step for you. In your recent past, here is the Justice card. So you may have just recently stumbled upon some sort of truth, some sort of something that is making you think about these offers the universe is giving you, that's putting you in a place where you need to make a decision. That's often what happens when the Justice card rolls around. This is about truth, balance. This is equilibrium, things being in order. So if there's some sort of truth that you've come upon, it might, sometimes that can shift us a little bit, right? Like, oh, I didn't know that. Let me proceed in this manner, right? It just changes how we move in the universe. So yeah, let's continue to see what's going on. Prosperity lies ahead. What's on your mind is the Knight of Pentacles. So that's interesting with that card, because that is the card of action in the realm of money, the realm of material things. So maybe some sort of action there. This could be where you take a job, where you change jobs, where you get a promotion at a job, something that is going to increase the amount of money that comes in. And it says prosperity lies ahead. So there might be some decision making there that you're having to do that has to do with your prosperity and where some of those coins come from. All right, what is just ahead of you this week is you are thinking about the future here with the Two of Wands. That also puts two twos on the table. So look up angel number 22, see if that has any bearing on you this week. But you're thinking about things in the future, and you're thinking about these prosperity things and maybe how you could generate more of that. It could be like a little side gig that you do. Is it bringing in money? Are you looking for ways for things to bring in money like that? So ask yourself that question. You're definitely thinking about the future, and kind of like you're kind of at a place of like, where's my next step? Almost a precipice. I wouldn't even be surprised to see if the Fool card doesn't come out, or the Magician here in the next few cards. That I would not be surprised to see that, because I feel like you're on the precipice of something. So, and if we don't see those cards in this reading, maybe even in next week's reading, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, because you're thinking about something here. All right, in your advice position, Temperance card. So the advice is to, and I know she's not a two, but I see the two cups and it makes me think two, two, two. It always does every time. Um, the Temperance card is just to kind of, hold your, like, to just maintain your balance, maintain your equilibrium here, be centered. That's the advice, is through all of this, through all of these decisions and things that are going, just be centered. And really you're trying to think of, what are your ultimate end goals? Where is it that you want to be? And when you think about that, you want to think a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years even down the road. Where do you want to be then? Where do you kind of see yourself? And that's when you can start taking those steps to put those things into action. But as you're doing that, as you're thinking and thinking, what is the universe bringing to you that you're saying no to? um and you're also, again, you're kind of on the precipice, I would say, of either a new journey or some kind of big change here, which is exciting. Again, keep your centered self about you. All right, what is beyond your control this week is the King of Cups. So we started off with the Queen, which is about really the understanding of our emotional world. The King of Cups is the knowledge, the just the ultimate knowledge that comes with that. It's kind of beyond your control. You're just really, really in touch with that right now, with your emotions and also people around you. All right, what is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid, is the Chariot, which is about gathering information to make a move. And like I said, I feel like you're on the precipice of something, and it could be very prosperous. It's like almost like watch your steps, make the right decisions here. But you have to ask yourself, is it your secret desire to gather information to make that next move, to get to what is that you want to manifest, or to get to that new journey that the Fool would take you on? Or are you trying to avoid that? I mean, the reading here doesn't say to me that you're trying to avoid it, but you might be in some way, even though your reading is saying it is time. You're on the precipice. It's time for some change, and it's time to become more prosperous. Um, but as you'll have to ask yourself this question, I really can't answer it for you. All right, in your outcome position is, yeah, you're looking back on where you've been with this Nine of Wands. Where have I been? Where do I want to go in the future? I feel like this is, I've seen a lot of the different readings have that there's a lot of meditating and contemplating and things going on, and we are kind of in that we've just started things with the new moon, and we're trying to get things going, but we're just coming out of that meditative period, and with the moon energy. But you are kind of looking back and saying, okay, here's what's worked, here's what hasn't worked. And it's like you're trying to do that evaluation. Again, I wouldn't be surprised next week to see the magician pop up in your reading or the fool pop up, because you're like on the precipice of making a decision. You're pondering a lot of different things here. What is hidden from you at the bottom of the deck? Broken heart. That's fine. We don't like those in our reading. That's one of the few cards. That one, maybe the Tower, maybe the Devil card. I'm fine if they're hidden from us here on the bottom of the deck. So not something we're worried about this week. Okay, let's see. We've got Cups, Wands, Pentacle. We've got all the suits represented. Do look up both angel number 22 and 222. See if any of those have bearing on your situation this week. I will look up those numbers for myself as well. All right, let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message here for Leo as they're on the precipice of something. I'm excited. Grieve your losses. And I like that this is number, I'll hold it up real close here, 44. 22, 44. 44 is a number I see all the time. Grieve your losses. So what is this? Is this that the universe is offering you something that you're not super thrilled with? And we can all relate to that. I mean, it's not like, sometimes we're trying to manifest a thing and it's like, no, that's not quite it. Thanks. No, that's not it either. Thanks. But sometimes, again, I think you have to say yes to some of those things. It's almost like the universe saying, the thing you want is out here, but because you're saying no to this little thing, the little thing is attached to the bigger thing. I hope that makes sense. Is that sometimes you have to say yes to something that kind of just puts you in a new place to find something there. Okay. Anyway, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care, Leo. Self-care for Leo. Speak up. If you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. Interesting. I saw this card maybe in the Gemini reading. If you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. Grieve your losses. So you need to speak up about something. Prosperity lies ahead. And again, you're kind of in this decision-making mode with all of these twos. You're at a decision point. But you're also looking back and you're emotionally stable right now. Are you getting ready to make a move or not? That'll be your big question of the week. So, I feel like, again, you're on the precipice of something, and it could be something very prosperous. So you need to just keep your eyes and ears open. What is the universe offering you that maybe you need to say yes to instead of no all the time? So, Leo, thank you so much for being here. I hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your life this week. Of course, drop me a comment down below if that's the case, if anything here resonated, or if you have questions. I would be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is very, very kind of you. Thank you so much for doing that. I do appreciate you, and I appreciate your time here with me for letting me read your tarot cards. So I love doing it. Thanks so much for being here, Leo. Good luck. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.